what you want.
Okay, and then,
Okra Coke, can you hear us at Okra Coke? You can wave if you want.
I got you right, I know how to make that.
Okra Coke, do you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. 1 second.
Right there. I don't want my, sign.
Listen.
Okra Coke, you see a computer screen now, a computer screen.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay. Everybody else should see us because we brought it in.
Is this working yet?
That is working now, yes. It's a good thing we got the big monitors, because they'll be sitting in the back today.
Oh, we're blinking. Why are we blinking?
I did a hard read, if the computer channel is blinking, I don't know.
She's gonna be writing a lot, so y'all might wanna move forward, even though we have the bigger monitors. It will probably be difficult to see.
Yeah, and if they're blinking, we have no control over that.
Show them what it will look like.
Okay, computer, and then.
Maybe it doesn't.
Once you push content, then you can go to the,
Yeah, this one's.
There you go, okay, yes.
You can see, you're good. Maybe I'll make it different.
She doesn't bite, so she gets it on the front two rows.
Which is better, first or second? Second.
Yeah. I think so.
I think so.
But then,
The vision
I'm
test.
half blind, so far away. I guess that's what you need the little pin thing for. The little pin circle.
Right there?
Yep. That's highlighter there. Pin selection.
It might be on the wheel. I
Oh.
don't see it on the wheel.
I don't see it on the wheel either.
And what happened to my black?
Is there one of these arrows, is one of the extra boxes in there?
Try the eraser on the.
Right.
This one.
It's usually.
Does it go back to it?
Okay. Try that.
There you go.
Oh, fun.
Erase the whole page at one
That's
time.
what you got, eraser.
Put 17 everywhere.
Maybe as soon as you get the rest of that.
There's a whole bunch more of
This stuff.
Do you think they're in the other room? 'Cause there's a whole bunch more. Should be good.
Yep, that's what it was. That's our fault. We changed the room so you wouldn't have to sit on top of it. Show the light.
So I'm seeing one class, right? At the moment,
You should be seeing three. There's three boxes. There's one bigger than the other two.
I'm seeing what's on my screen. One class and me.
When I'm sending content, it's gonna look that small. It does seem.
Oh my gosh, he's almost here.
I can go to one, oh, that's what we were talking about. I can go to one school and make it the whole screen right there, that little small screen of it.
Maybe just do that. Can we go
But-
back and forth?
Now,
It said it was single screen aside.
That way when I Google for like Overcoat, I can
so,
see.
Well, that's even better
Yeah.
still.
see, but that's if I'm not sending anything.
That's without content.
Okay.
Yeah. I can have it like that,
But you
or,
still send, you just pick one school.
yeah,
select through the
that's
school
what I'm
district.
doing, yeah. Or I can do that with each school that you go to.
Okay. Alright. Oh, good, and it tells me who they are.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay, and I won't have Plymouth today.
Right.
Okay. Alright. Okay,
And I can have it like that. Actually, so you've got 4 schools, so you could have it like that.
I like that, I think, I like that. But I just need to be able to see whenever we get ready to.
Right. Now, it will shrink when I start sending things.
That's fine, that was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Make it large now, because I'm.
Yep. Do you want one at a time, or are you good with it like this?
This is fine.
Okay.
Okay.
We're giving you too many options.
And I don't even know what's better, so I'm good. Okay, hi, welcome everybody. I'm Bonnie Sadler, and this is Math 171. No, yes, 171. It's not 172, just a moment ago.
Turn the mic on.
And I'm new to this technology in this room. I don't, where is the little thing?
It's very on the very top. There's a button on the very top. Push it
Very
in.
top.
Yeah, right there in between the wires.
Okay, I pressed.
Yeah. And
Am I on?
yep, we're on.
On. This is my first time with all this technology, okay? So I have my security over here, security net is helping me get done. So when there are kinks, they'll help me out, okay? So we have a class here at Beaufort, and this is the highway classes, so we're also going to have Ocracoke. Can people wave at me from Ocracoke? Hello, Ocracoke. Are y'all doing okay? I felt so sorry for your world. Does everybody have electricity and they're okay now? Yes? Yes. Good. Because y'all went through some rough times. I'm so glad that you're all there. Awesome. So we have Ocracoke, Columbia.
Hi.
Hi, Columbia. Hi. Madam Mesquite. Hello, Madam Mesquite. Yes, hi. And Plymouth, but Plymouth doesn't have internet today, so they'll be with us next time. I am going to take a few moments, and I'll go through attendance and If I mispronounce your name or I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, help me out, okay? That would be great. So I'm going to start with our sites, and then I'll come back here. Okay? That good? Okay, so for Ocracoke, hold on, glasses. Okay. I'm Bonnie Sadler, if I didn't tell you that in the beginning. So as I'm calling your name, you know who I am. Okay, so do I have Liam in Ocracoke? Wave at me. No, no Liam? No Liam. How about Samuel? Right here, I do have a Samuel. Julia? Do I have a Julia? Yes, there's Julia in the back. Grant? Grant? McLean? Is he in there? Just not. Okay, thank you. Cody? Cody. All right, now is it K? How do I say your name? K-A-L-A-I, so I say it right.
Is it on? Yeah.
Is it
It's Kalai.
Kalai? See, I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
All right, thank you. All right, well, welcome everybody. So everybody but Liam, right?
Oh, you guys registered.
Oh, that's okay.
We have a new student that was registered this morning.
We have a new student. What's the new student's
Jason
name?
Resendez.
Okay. Will the facilitator please email me? I'll give you my email and then you just email me, okay?
Okay.
Is there a facilitator in the room?
Yes.
I can't see you. Okay, awesome.
Okay.
All right, Columbia. Columbia. All right, do I have in Columbia? Is it Nestor? In
He's not
Columbia?
here at this time. We're trying to locate him.
All right, okay. He'll come up. All right, is it Raina?
Yes.
That's right. All right, all right. Indonesia? I know, I'm calling
In Deja.
Indonesia. See? All right. All right, Gabrielle. Do I have a Gabrielle?
It's Gabriel.
Oh, Gabriel. Thank you. All right, Elizabeth.
Here.
Yes. All right. Talisa.
Oh, she got it. Hey.
Well, that is awesome that I got it right. And Whitney.
Here.
I'm sure.
Here. Hello, Whitney. Okay. All right. So Nestor was the only one wrong that wasn't here.
Yes, ma'am, and we're trying to locate him right now.
Okay. Mattamuskeet is my next group. So Matthew in Mattamuskeet.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Bernard. All right. Mason.
Here.
Thank you. David.
Here.
Okay. Garrett.
Right here.
Okay. Caitlin.
Here.
Caitlin. Alyssa.
Here.
Okay. And William.
Here.
All right. So everybody there. Awesome. Okay. All right. Now I get to do face to face since Plymouth is not here. All right. Madison Bunting. Amanda Brooke. Caleb. Okay. Mackenzie. Artigua. Is that right? I can do that sometimes. All right. Nick. Is it Tamia? Tamia. Okay. Tyler. Lacey. Okay. Caitlin.
I go by Kate.
All right. Oh, I've got two Caitlins. I've got a Caitlin Griffin and a Caitlin Perez. Which one are you?
Giffen.
All right. So you're Kate Giffen. And then do I have a Caitlin Perez? Yes. Do you go by Caitlin? All right. All right. Joey. Nicholas. Hannah. Okay. Hermes. Okay. All right, Adriana. Ashlyn. Is it John Woolard? John Woolard. And Marshall. Okay, so that's everybody but John Woolard. Okay, awesome. Well, welcome to 171. This class is a hybrid class. Yeah.
I was just on this class like 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
So I'm not going to be in the system today.
That's fine. So at the end of class, just see me, okay? And I'll get all your information written down. Okay. This class is a hybrid class, which means I will see you Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tuesday, Thursday, we still have class. It's called lab, but I don't see you, all right? So on those days, sometimes there will be videos to watch or quizzes to work on. Sometimes it's work on your homework. But think of this as you always have something to do. And so it does require a lot of time. All right, so I've had students before say, I forgot about my homework. You can't, because there's always, if I see you, there's homework. Okay, so there is always homework, but good practice, okay? It'll help us out. We are set up so that you can go to Blackboard, and you should always be looking on Blackboard for any announcements, and this will be linked to our My Math Lab, and that's where most all of your assignments will be, all right? And I'm going to go through and show you where to find those things if you don't know, all right? Now, this particular course uses the 6th edition. Okay, some of you may have the green edition, which is the edition before this, but you're going to need the online access, and it needs to be associated with this book, all right? If you don't buy this book, you'll still be okay as long as you have the online access, because there is a digital book within that, all right? And if you don't have the access code today, as you go in and you sign up with My Math Lab, you can choose the 14-day free trial. All right, so there's no reason that you can't go right on in there and start doing the work that you need to do. All right. The first thing we're going to do is look at our syllabus. It will let me. Okay, so I'm clicking. So nothing's happening. There we go.
Yeah, okay.
And while we're waiting for that to load up, just know as we start doing actual coursework, and this goes for all my sites, okay, just because you seem like you're not physically here, still if I'm going fast or if there's something you don't understand, feel free to jump in and just say, wait just a minute, could you go over that again, okay?
Ask me later.
Ask me later. Okay, so you will log into Blackboard, and when you log into Blackboard, you will find your courses listed, and you'll choose this math course. And over to the side, there'll be the part that says syllabus. So you click on that, and this is the screen once it comes up, just like what I just did. All right. Now for me, my name is Bonnie Sadler, but my office is in Building 3. Building 3, room 101. And it has my office hours, my phone number, and my email. So you should always be emailing me using your Beaufort email. All right, so that's the best way that we can connect with each other. When you do that, a standard understanding or rule of thumb is we always try to get back with you within 48 hours. And usually I'm way quicker than that, okay, unless it's the weekend or something like that going on. But I always try to get back with you as soon as I can. I've already mentioned that this is a hybrid class. So that means that your grade book is going to be on Blackboard. Any announcements that I make or that the school makes is going to be posted on Blackboard. Okay? Especially if we have inclement weather. because as soon as maybe one of our classes are canceled and we're later in the afternoon, so if there's bad weather, it is likely that we wouldn't meet. And if we did not, I have to upload for you some assignment to make up for not being here. Okay, so it's very important as soon as you can get to Blackboard to see what it is that you would need to do. For this particular class, you need to have satisfied a couple of requirements, and one of them is that you should have met all the requirements for developmental. You should have either scored the correct score, or you should have taken DMA through DMA 80. So if you're not sure about that, you need to see me, okay? But you should have all been checked, and I think, and I'm not pointing you out a T-Glove, but I know I need to talk to you afterwards, okay? All right. As far as what things we're going to cover in this class, we're going to cover here our student learning outcomes. We're going to use analytical, graphical, numerical representations. We're going to do absolute value, polynomials, logarithms, complex numbers, and we're going to use polynomials. We're going to use everything you've ever heard of before and maybe a little bit more. I think probably complex numbers might be something you're less familiar with the things that we're going to do. We use systems of equations. We're going to do composition. I think, as I've taught this course before, composition is something else that students haven't been very familiar with. And as far as how am I going to teach the course, given the setup of how we are, clearly there'll be a lot of just instruction, right? We only meet 3 days a week, and there's a lot of information. So basically, when class starts, as soon as I can, I'm hitting the road running, right? So we have a lot of information every time we meet class. So if you, for some reason, are not here and miss it, don't say, did I miss anything? You did. You missed something. There will be homework assigned to whatever we missed. So make sure that you're aware. Look on my math lab. That's where you'll have all your assignments, okay? And any announcements in Blackboard. So we will do one project together where we'll probably be in groups and be able to do that. Sometimes there may be lessons that they call flipped, which is what I was referring to earlier when I said we have those lab days. Sometimes there may be videos for you to watch, and if you watch those videos, sometimes there may be some homework problems to work and practice after you've watched them. And what that does is that sets it up so that when you come to class the next time, everybody will be on the same page and we can go a little bit further into the topic. All right? So that's why that's set up that way. I've already shown you your book and told you that you do need the online access that comes with it. Okay? You must have that, or else you will not be able to do any of the homework. Okay? As far as calculators go, it's suggested that you have the TI-84. You can have any graphing calculator that you want. You can survive this class with a scientific calculator. You can do that. But when we start doing matrices at the very end of the semester, you will find that this calculator is very helpful. You don't have to have this exact one. When it comes time to take tests, I do have a bucket of calculators that I can bring in. Okay, so if there's a situation where you cannot get a calculator, be sure to make contact with me, okay, and we'll see what we can do. But you do need a graphing calculator, or it is helpful to have a graphing calculator. Next on the syllabus, we just list all the different topics that we're going to go over. And it is true that at the beginning, things are going to feel very familiar. If you've had a good background in mathematics, a large portion of this class is going to be familiar. I think one of the problems that arises is sometimes students get so familiar with it, they don't follow through and pay attention to detail, and then come and not make the grade they should have made just from not paying attention and being diligent with things, because they get pretty relaxed on things. So do pay attention, do keep up with your work. Homework is assigned every single day, and if you get behind, it's very hard to catch up because every day we're having homework. All right, so just stay up on your work. There is an introductory assignment. Now, this is in My Math Lab, all right, and it shows up as soon as you go to assignments. This is not the same as if you're in an online class. If you're in an online class, if you don't do the introductory assignment, you're dropped out of the class, okay? So we're a seated class, even everybody, okay? But this is just helping you move around in My Math Lab. It says choose the smiley face. Type this in correctly. It makes sure that you type in everything like you're supposed to do. Because you will find out when you start working in My Math Lab, you can do all your work correctly. Type in your answer, and if it's not typed in exactly right, they're going to tell you that it was wrong. So you want to be careful to pay attention to detail. All right? Your final grade is going to be calculated the following way. Your test average will be 50%, your exam will be 20%, your quiz average and lab will be 15%, and your homework average will be 15%. Now, there are a lot of homework. So if you take all of those homework and make up 15%, each individual homework grade isn't too bad, right? Homework's there for you to practice. There are fewer quizzes, so that means quizzes are weighted more. So don't just dismiss those, because when you do your homework, every individual homework problem can be repeated until you get it correct. When you take your quiz, you can take a whole quiz. If you do not get a good grade, you can take the whole quiz again. So with diligence, easy 30% of your grade can be a very strong A with diligence. Okay? So I set you up for success. All right? Now, as you're doing your homework, I expect that when you do homework, it should take you 30 minutes to an hour to do your homework. There may be some days, if you do not understand the topic, that it takes you some extra time. If you find that it's taking you 2 hours consistently to do your homework, you need to be getting in contact with me, okay? But I would at least expect 30 minutes to an hour to do your homework on average. Sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. Okay? The grading scale is a 10-point grading scale, and that final exam at the end, you have to take the final exam or you fail the course. Even if you had an A, you have to take the final exam. Everybody in 171 takes the same final exam. Okay? The next thing is attendance, and there is a policy at school that says students are expected to attend all classes. They have full responsibility for accounting to their instructors for absences. Instructors have the authority to drop students who have missed 10% of the classes, as well as the authority to determine whether the student shall be reinstated. Now, my expectation is that you should be here unless there's a certainly excused reason why you're not. If you are missing 5, 8 classes, that's over a week of information that you have missed, all right? So you need to be in contact with me if you're not here. Just shoot me an email, all right? Now, this is a little bit different if there is a test. And did I pass the test information where I wanted to talk about tests? I know I'm making you dizzy. Hold on, I'm looking for test. Where I should have talked about test. I think it's down.
Right there.
Right there. That's the introductory thing. There's a whole thing about tests saying if you don't show up and you miss your test. Here we go. Here we go here. A missed test. A missed test will count as an absence, and an unexcused absence will result in a 0 for a test grade. So don't take it lightly that you're not here or don't show up for a test. All right? If you don't show up, then that's a 0. You need to get in touch with me if you're not going to be here. If it is an excused reason, then you and I will figure out a time when you can make up that test, or your exam grade will replace that test grade. Okay? Which would mean that exam is going to count a lot for you. The other procedures are standard procedures. They are listed in Blackboard. You can click on the links to read about any item that you would like to. I will make mention of the electronic devices, cell phones, iPods, Bluetooth, headsets, etc. When it comes to your cell phones, please put them away. It is rude for you to have them out, and so please have them put away. You don't use your calculator on your cell phone. Use a calculator. And the rest are just standard policies that you can click on and read. And just remember, inclement weather, look at Blackboard. Yes. Yeah, sure, it's fine. Okay, any questions about syllabus information or the class?
I have a question.
Yes.
When you retake a quiz, do you average the grade out, or is it a whole new grade?
It's a whole new grade.
All right.
Any other questions? Okay.
Someone doesn't have their mic muted. Can we hear the bags moving around?
Okay, as you saw, when you get into Blackboard and you click syllabus, see if it'll let me go back. It'll open up to two places, and you'll click right here under the blue, and that's what opened up the syllabus. And then right here will give you instructions for getting into My Math Lab, and you want to do that immediately because that's where everything is for our course. Okay? This little thingy. Okay. You see right here, I don't know if y'all can read it, but this word right here says quick links. Okay? So you're going to go into Blackboard, log into Blackboard, and you're going to click quick links. When you do, you will scroll down until you see the green Pearson's MyLab and Mastering. Right? Now, when I click it, because I've already done this, I'm going to be able to go directly to my course, and this is what I see. Now, you will see something different the first time. Right? The first time, you're going to just see one link, and this is where you will follow the instructions that are listed on the other page. Okay? But once you've done it, what it's going to do is it's going to link everything you do in My Math Lab, and so if you ever see me use the MML, that's what I'm referring to. So anything you do in My Math Lab will now be linked to Blackboard. And so that's where you'll see your grades and everything will show up, and that's how it's linked together. So you have to do this first, and this is the process that you go through. I usually choose the one that said home because I always like to see my home screen in My Math Lab. So this is what My Math Lab looks like. And you will see assignments, and you'll click on assignments. And there's the introductory assignment that I was referring to, right? That's just like choose the smiley face. It's just making sure you can move around in My Math Lab. And then today, after the end of the day, depending on how much we get done, I have two assignments there. One is review, and one is section 1.1. So we're jumping to chapter, I say jumping. Review isn't even part of this course, but I do some review, and the review that I'm doing is I'm trying to catch the kinds of mistakes that people often make. So even though I'm not doing the whole review, I'm pulling out the pieces that I think will be most beneficial for you. All right? I'm going to go click on it. And then you see it shows you your questions. Over here at the top right-hand side, there is question help. So if you have a particular problem that you don't know how to do, you can click help, and you can view an example that will work the whole problem for you, worked out step by step. You can click the help me solve this, and that's where they give you a little instruction and ask you to do a little work, give you a little more instruction, ask you to do a little work. It walks you through the problem that way. All right. There's also an Ask My Instructor. If you click that, what it's going to do is it's going to let you send me an email with a link to this particular problem. It is helpful if you do that, like, okay, if I get the email, all it tells me is, yes, you don't know how to do number 7, but it's not telling me anything. Tell me I can't get started, or I can get started, but I don't understand this. Give me some kind of feedback so that I can help you, right? If that doesn't work, I mean, usually if people ask me questions, then at the beginning of the next class, I'll say, I had a couple of questions about number 7. I want to take a minute and do that, all right? Always at the beginning of each class, that's what I do. I ask for any questions on your homework. When I make an assignment for homework in my math lab, most of the time you have a week. That does not mean wait a week. What that means is after a week, it's a 0 if you haven't done it. All right? The expectation is that you're going to do the homework before I see you again. All right? But there are certain weeks where you've got a paper due, 2 other tests, and you need some wiggle room, right? I'm still expecting you to monitor your world and make sure that you're diligent to get everything done that you need to get done. All right? But it's expected that when you leave here, the homework that you have, it is done by the next time I see you. And that way, when I ask questions, do you have any questions? And if it is all silent, hopefully that's because you don't have questions, not because you haven't done it. Okay? Any questions about my math lab? And so even if I did a problem wrong, it'll let you do it. I think it'll let you do it like 3 times, the same problem, until they'll finally just say, okay, here, try one with a different number. Okay, so you can still keep working that problem until you get it correct. On the side here, you see there was syllabus. Content and assignments is another place. If I'm giving you information or giving you videos to watch or something to do, it's going to be listed under content and assignments. All right. And I have already put, you'll see right here, review videos. So we'll have a couple of review sections to do intermingled within Chapter 1 as we do that. It's expected that you really already know how to do the review stuff, but if there are things that you don't remember, I have uploaded videos for you so that you can watch it and get refreshers. Still, you can ask me at the beginning of the next class, you can ask me, hey, I was doing review, I didn't know how to do number 7, and we'll do that together. So it's still open for asking me questions, okay? But that's to make sure if there are any little details, you'll be good to go, because everything that I've chosen in the review section, you will see again several times in the course of the class, okay? All right. I do want to play, before we get started, let's see, we're here till 2:40. This video is like 4 minutes long, and I do just take a minute and I'm going to show this video. And this video is really more about how you think and how you approach problems, okay? So I'm going to show a video. Is that?
It's 2:30, I think.
Are we just here till 2:30?
Yeah. We start at.
Wow. Well, we may, okay. We're going to watch a quick video.
The wave of panic.
The wave of panic goes across the...
You said 2:40, it was like,
Yeah.
wave of panic.
Okay, so we start at 1:40 and we end at 2:30, right? Okay. 2:30. Okay, so I'm going to show the video and then I'll do some final things. Okay. And how can I
In education, the one thing we know how to measure best is IQ. But what if doing well in school and in life depends on much more than your ability to learn quickly and easily? So I left the classroom and I went to graduate school to become a psychologist. I started studying kids and adults in all kinds of super challenging settings. And in every study, my question was, who is successful here and why? My research team and I went to West Point Military Academy. We tried to predict which cadets would stay in military training and which would drop out. We went to the National Spelling Bee and tried to predict which children would advance farthest in competition. We studied rookie teachers working in really tough neighborhoods, asking which teachers are still going to be here in teaching by the end of the school year. And of those, who will be the most effective at improving learning outcomes for their students? We partnered with private companies asking which of these salespeople is going to keep their jobs and who's going to earn the most money. In all those very different contexts, one characteristic emerged as a significant predictor of success. And it wasn't social intelligence, it wasn't good looks, physical health, and it wasn't IQ. It was grit. Grit is passion and perseverance for very long-term goals. Grit is having stamina. Grit is sticking with your future, day in, day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years, and working really hard to make that future a reality. Grit is living life like it's a marathon, not a sprint. A few years ago, I started studying grit in the Chicago public schools. I asked thousands of high school juniors to take grit questionnaires, and then waited around more than a year to see who would graduate. Turns out that grittier kids were significantly more likely to graduate, even when I matched them on every characteristic I could measure, things like family income, standardized achievement test scores, even how safe kids felt when they were at school. So it's not just at West Point or the National Spelling Bee that grit matters, it's also in school, especially for kids at risk for dropping out. To me, the most shocking thing about grit is how little we know, how little science knows about building it. Every day, parents and teachers ask me, how do I build grit in kids? What do I do to teach kids a solid work ethic? How do I keep them motivated for the long run? The honest answer is, I don't know. What I do know is that talent doesn't make you gritty. Our data show very clearly that there are many talented individuals who simply do not follow through on their commitments. In fact, in our data, grit is usually unrelated or even inversely related to measures of talent. So far, the best idea I've heard about building grit in kids is something called growth mindset. This is an idea developed at Stanford University by Carol Dweck, and it is the belief that the ability to learn is not fixed, that it can change with your effort. Dr. Dweck has shown that when kids read and learn about the brain and how it changes and grows in response to challenge, they're much more likely to persevere when they fail because they don't believe that failure is a permanent condition. So growth mindset is a great idea for building grit, but we need more. And that's where I'm going to end my remarks, because that's where we are. That's the work that stands before us. We need to take our best ideas, our strongest intuitions, and we need to test them. We need to measure whether we've been successful, and we have to be willing to fail, to be wrong, to start over again with lessons learned. In other words, we need to be gritty about getting our kids grittier. Thank you.
Okay, the reason why I love that is because one of the reasons is just like a month ago, I have a very good friend who recently graduated from pharmacy school. And she was in a lot of medical classes with people who wanted to be doctors. And she was like, you know what? They're not actually always the smartest kid in class. They wanted it the most. So don't define yourself. If you're in a hard situation and there's a goal that you want to achieve, don't limit yourself based on what a score said or that you failed the first time. Know that you can achieve a lot more than you expect sometimes. Okay? Or maybe you should expect a lot more than you have been expecting. And so don't worry when you make a mistake or when you fail. And that's part of the whole homework situation in here. You can redo it until you get it correct. And then the quizzes, you have a couple of times that you can work on that. Okay? So that by the time you make it to the test, hopefully you've made all the mistakes that you need to make. All right? And then you can perform well on the test. As far as the homework is concerned, because I haven't been able, I spent a lot of time getting everything going today. I do have in my math lab, remember, a review section open and the 1.1 homework section open. 1.1 still should also be a lot of review. I'll leave it open because if you're really excited and want to go ahead and jump into 1.1, you can, but you're not obligated to, okay? But I do want you to go ahead and work on the review, all right? The review that is open is expected that you already do know how to do this. It's on exponents and polynomials. I did choose the problems that people often make mistakes on, okay? That's why I chose them, so that we don't make those same mistakes when we start working later on in class, okay, to catch you with that. So before you come in next time, make sure that you've done the review, okay? It's R.3 and R.6, that's what it's called. Make sure that you do that, and the very first thing I'll ask is, does anybody have any questions about that? All right? Does anybody have any questions about anything we've done or I've said so far? Yes?
Where will you get the online book at? Because I bought it, but I don't know where to access it.
You bought the book, you said?
No, the online one.
Okay, so you have a code.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's perfect. All right, so when you go, find it for you. Okay, so when you go into Blackboard and you click on syllabus, right? And then you can click on instructions to register for My Math Lab. All right, so you're going to do quick links. You're going to find the little green thing that says Pearson's. You're going to click on that, and then Pearson's going to start asking you questions. They're going to ask you, do you already have a Pearson account? If you've taken like 143 or some other math class, you may already have a Pearson account, or if you took any of the developmental classes. If you haven't, then you're going to create a new account. It's important that you write down your username and password because I will not have it. And if you lose it, I cannot help you. All right? So make sure that you keep up with that, and you'll create an account. If you have a password, if you have a code, you're going to type it in where they instruct you to. If you do not have a code, there's going to be a place in blue right below all the instructions. There'll be a little blue line, and it'll say you can choose a 14-day free trial. So if you do not yet have a book or a code, choose the free trial, and that'll give you access for 14 days, and you can go ahead and start doing the work. Okay, does that answer your question? Okay, and so you see that here's the link. You'll choose Quick Tools, then you'll choose the green link. You're going to put in your username, password. It's going to tell you what to do. Yes, there was someone behind that had a question? Yes.
Is all our homework going to be turned in on the math lab?
Yes, it will.
So nothing will be on paper?
There may be some times throughout the semester that I do have paperwork that's handed in, but 90% of your work will be on My Math Lab. Okay? Any other questions?
We need to bring our book to class.
You do not have to bring your book to class. Any questions from any of our satellite schools? No. Okay. I will try to get in touch with all the facilitators in each school and email you so we can connect with each other. Other than that, make sure you do that homework listed in my math lab, and I will see you Friday. Yes.